Yes. Hi, Josh.
Good. How are you? How is your evening?
I'm good, bro. I can get you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Great.
We are glad to have you here at Rugby Fanatics. But before we continue, we are going to hold a moment of silence for our departed colleague across Kenya. I'm sure maybe you had some playing days with him.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you reminisce with us. You give us uh, I hope you faced him on pitch so that you can give us a story or two about him, because some of us don't know much about him. Yeah, so to our colleagues, let's hold just a moment of silence for our friend. May Alan's soul rest in peace.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah, so Timothy,
Yes, Josh.
a Ugandan rugby legend as described by by Stocky, the undisputed number two. Tell us,
Undisputed
uh,
number two after who?
after you know him,
Anyway,
Robert
true, true,
Seguya.
true, true. True,
Yeah,
definitely.
but maybe you could counter that argument and tell us otherwise.
No. The truth is, actually, even top five could be quite a high fate for me. There are
Okay.
quite some really greats in Uganda rugby. I could easily give you a whole 15 starting team
We
of
shall get
many
back.
greats.
We shall get back to that. Now,
True.
Timothy, while we're hosting you, we want you to take us through your rugby journey. When you started playing rugby, what interested you to join rugby? We know you come from a sporting family. You tell us about your family, your lovely kids, and everything. We are going to talk rugby, your family, your life,
Okay.
and your aspirations. So,
Oh, great.
just yeah, just tell us, just give us a brief background when you started playing rugby. What inspired you to start playing rugby despite the many sports across the country?
Oh, great. Timothy Mudoola, Muumba is my real surname actually. Many people know Mudoola, definitely, because of my passport and the family name. I'm the
Okay.
third of four children. A very sporting family. Father and mother were too sporty. Squash, lawn tennis, name it. And I think it was just in the gyms. It's the one part where I actually believe it's sporting is in the gyms in some way. Because at that time, many of us didn't talk to our parents that freely. So it was just get into school and you find what to do.
Okay.
Mugwanya Preparatory School, me, Ken Mudoola, my first born bro, Fred, we all played soccer there, and surprisingly, the same number at that. I
Okay.
later got into lawn tennis, which we all played again. I think for some reason, I wanted to find something I could play as me that my brothers didn't play. So I went into volleyball in primary school. So leaving Kawoja, go to Namilyango, still as a star in volleyball. I joined the Namilyango volleyball team. Young lad, Form 1, almost a feat that no one had made, joining the national team in Form 1. I mean the school team, sorry. As I played volleyball, I find this interesting sport called rugby.
Okay.
I watched one day, second day,
Uh,
but I'm like, no.
which year was that?
This was 1996, Form 1.
1996. Wow.
Yeah, I was in my Form 1.
Okay.
So I watched guys play this game. I'm like, no, this is not for me. I'll stick to soccer. It was too competitive at that level. So volleyball was the best and lawn tennis. But the one thing that got my attention in rugby, as I watched before I even started playing, was the tackling.
Okay.
I liked it. I was actually more fascinated by the people someone putting down someone else than
Okay.
those who are carrying the ball.
So I
So
guess you joining from volleyball and everything. You had a good hand of, right?
those just came systematically. Actually, they
Okay.
just came in somehow. But the one thing I really pushed myself to learn, I think it was the most scary thing, because I was little actually, and I think that's why I got into. I would see little boys run away as I watched to support.
Okay.
You know,
So you
Namilyango has almost an arena for fans to
okay.
watch. So as I
So
watched,
you are telling us it was out of your personal interest that you joined. Because
yes,
I have very many colleagues and they're telling me, I was playing cricket, I was playing soccer, and so came for me. He told me you should join this sport. The sport is very good. So you are telling us it is you who picked the interest in the sport, right?
yes, I'm telling you that, Josh.
Okay.
It was my personal interest, and I joined because of a particular aspect of it. I
Okay.
saw little boys running away from tackles. I was like, this is what I should learn first. So there was, I don't know, many of you didn't see him play. There was in our class, now this is Form 297,
Okay.
there was quite a fast big player called Joseph, okay? I used
Okay.
to tell him, I would just put him there, I tell him, run at me. As we went one day just on the pitch, run at me. And all I would do is basically duck, but try
Uh-huh.
to get his feet. I tell him, go again, go again. And when I realized that was easy, actually, that's when I picked interest in rugby. I fell out with volleyball and any other sport. I was like, as
Okay.
long as I can put down anyone, then I can play this game. And that's when I picked my interest in rugby, actually. It was before I even touched a ball, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
mm,
tell us, you were in Namibia with your brother Fred, right?
no, actually, you see, everyone believes Fred was in Namilyango, but Fred
Okay.
wasn't in Namilyango. He just, and that's one aspect with rugby that I believe, sorry to bring this up, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
Kobs, but
Okay.
it's about talent. And because Fred got so attached to Namilyango while he coached it,
Okay.
everyone believed he's not be there. But actually, Fred is an entirely old boy.
Okay. We've
Yeah,
got that story right.
yeah, true.
So yeah, you were telling us your form two, you go into your form three, you play more rugby. Who was
Yeah,
your major
now,
competitor by then?
uh, by that time, rugby was more of you watch your stars. Form 2, I think one of my best rugby games I ever watched, and what drew me to Kobs actually, before we even get there. Uh, I get to watch a league. It was basically a league finale at Kampala Rugby Club, the current
Okay.
Legends Rugby Club. There was Kobs versus Impis. Then there was Rhinos, Heathens going on somewhere else.
Okay.
So for the league to be won, it had to be either Impis or Kobs. And Kobs had to beat Impis by a certain number of tries, I think 5, to win the
Okay.
league. And this day, we are there in our school uniforms. We are watching. It was a long game. It actually, it ended. It was almost getting it was getting dark.
Okay.
So I remember watching Mike Wandera. I would say Mike Wandera is one of my most inspirational players I've watched in my time. Some people may not know him, but those may know him as the Sevens team manager right now.
Yeah, we know
But
Michael Wandera.
Michael Wandera, he
Yeah.
was one of the best tacklers in this game
Okay.
and in this country and in the East Africa, actually.
Okay.
It was hard to go by him. And he caught my eye that game, that particular game. I followed him, watched him. And luckily enough, that's the same day I get to see Ronnie Kadu, Kalimugogo, quite many greats anyway. If I mention them, many of our viewers may not know them. But that's the day actually I got more attached to the game. Because of Mike, I was like, actually, this game is about put the man down, turn over the ball, give it to our teammates to play. And with my passion for it is I was more desired to put people down than actually play the ball.
Okay.
So I go on from 3 with that same mentality. Competition came mainly from, with Namiliango competition came mainly from a class below. That was always your
Okay.
competition. And you would try to beat them any day, anytime. They would produce the bigger boys if they had any. You try to beat them. Come to Form 4, it's shocking, but when everyone was still thinking school team and beating the class lower, when we get into our vacation, my mind was the national team at that stage, actually.
Okay.
That's the
So
time I got.
you are telling us form 2, form 3, you did participate in school team or anything like that? Any school team games?
No, no. For around Form 2, Form 3, I made it to the school team.
Okay.
It was that transition into Form 3. I made it into the school team with the big boys and many of my classmates, actually, because
Okay.
I don't know, for some reason, we had some of the best skill at that time. We had Molly Atubo, many don't know him, Mwesije Raymond, there's Paul Rugamba, some people don't know him. There were quite some good kids at that time. And Sogi that time was in Namiliango, captain, about to leave the school. Actually, that was one of our strongest team about to leave. And now we were supposed to come into the system with a strong team. There was one, of course, with Form 4s, quite a strong team, but we're like, no, we're better than these guys. And that made us stand out a lot in Namiliango. It made us be one of the disliked classes when it came
Okay.
to school competitions. But when it came to the school, actual school, but when it came to generally competing in SMAC, Budo, everyone knew we were winning any game, any day, and this boy, we were the best to produce.
All right. So you've given us a brief background of school and everything. Take us to when you went out of school. Or you have some more to share about school before we go into Kobs national team and everything.
Yeah, the most I can give about school basically is in my Form 4, I decided, you know what, let me take my competition a bit high and see.
Okay.
Form 4 VAC, this is 1999. I'm like, I hear about the school, the national team being called up. Of course, I was like, oh, okay. Let me go to, because at that time we stayed quite nearby. I'm actually one of the few people they call Nago boys. We are a few Nago boys. I stay up the hill in Kololo, but it was close. So I went for a national team training. I was like, no, let me do it. I would always be the opposition, and I liked tackling, I liked the whole works. So I get a feel of the tough, hard training, and I was like, okay, this is how it is. But I knew I wouldn't make the national team then, but I knew where I was heading. I set my bar up there, and I was like, one day, I'll really have to put on that.
You will be there.
I'll be there. And I put it in my vision, I put it in my heart. I was like, I have to make it to this level. So fast forward through VAC, go back to Namilyango, Form 5. It's still, luckily enough, the same. Basically, all the players come back. We dominate through everything. All the school rugby, which I don't want to go through about.
You beat St. Mary's through and through.
We just kept we beat anyone and everyone. We just kept beating everyone and anyone. Go to Form 6, same thing. So in there, of course, I got school captaincy somewhere, 1/7 tournaments. But anyway, fast forward, like you told me, how I got into the national team. So this is Form 6.
First tell us about Kobs, because I believe you first went into Kobs before the national team.
Definitely. Actually, how I even made it into Kobs was still at Form 4 vacation escapade of mine.
Okay.
The late Edward Chitaka was basically the coach of Kobs by that time. So my first Kobs game was against Ntale. That time it was called Ntale RFC. Actually, I think two from Namilyango played that game. Me and Tony Stoneluja, Dr. Tony Stoneluja. And that was one game many people from Kampala didn't want to go and play in Ginger.
Doctor was your teammate, right?
Yes, he was my teammate.
Your classmate and teammate and
classmate and teammate all throughout. So we are given this is our first game. We have rookies from Namilyango. They throw us into this hard game. That time, Ntale RFC had some Samoans, some islanders playing for them. They are missionaries, but quite violent on pitch. And that's why many people traveling from Kampala didn't want to play that game in Ginger. They would easily play it in Kampala, but not Ginger.
Ntale is the current, you could say, Ginger Hippos.
The current Ginger Hippos, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the current Ginger. It was really tough game to play at Dam Waters. So we come off the bench. We are put on by the late Edward. Oh boy. I think that's one of my toughest debuts I've ever had. I received punches. I was actually dropped in the core of rugby. And I think that's the time I realized, team, you're not going to quit this sport. You actually love this game. Because what I received that day, despite the win, I tapped my fellow little bro, Tony, on the back, Stone. I was like, I think this is our journey, really. We can't look back. We're all swollen faces. And yeah, we came back with a win. But from there, from us, our teammates we had come with from college, fast forward into Form 6. Well, like we are so many, we all couldn't be in Kobs that time, sorry.
Yeah. We
all couldn't be in Kobs that time because the competition was really tough. Joining Kobs, you had to go through almost 3 teams before you join Kobs. So they decided to create a box.
Box, yeah.
The then box. Actually, it started with our time. And that's where many of us, we came as a whole school team into box. So I had to drop back a bit.
Okay.
Went to box, played with all my teammates. Even Tony came back. I think one of the few people who remained in Kobs was Simon Wakabi. Simon Wakabi remained up there because the late Edward really saw a lot of potential in him. He really liked him.
Electric. Yeah, yeah,
He really loved Simon. So many of us were like, no, let's go play with our teammates a bit. So we really dominated that league as well, and it somehow got too easy. And unfortunately to say, I don't want to brag, but it somehow became too easy. And so, luckily enough, the system starts flowing. Kobs had the system, go through box, go up. It reached my level where, I was told, Timothy, it's your time to play in what?
In
The first
Kobs.
team. Your box time is done. Come up, give us your time. And I think this came up around 2001. Then come 2000, around 2002 still that year. Then a national team session is called in 2002. We are still in vacation.
Okay.
I'm like, just like I did that time, let me go train. I wasn't called actually. One thing I have to tell the masses out there, I was never called up for my
You
national
called
team.
yourself.
I called myself. And I think sometimes I worry that if I had waited to be called, maybe I wouldn't be the Timothy Mudoola everyone knows. So,
Very right.
national team station start, I go. Still, I was opposition, just tackling. Like, I was quite quick on my feet. And yet in school, I was a flanker. Here I am training with huge boys. Herbert Wafula, the late Rujumba. That time, Fred had joined Kalimugogo. But now imagine I'm with the forwards. I'm not even with the backs. Because I've been playing as a flanker. I'm like, no, let me go do still flanking with the national team. Boy, oh boy, I was the scrum half among mountains. Even the scrum half then was bigger than me, actually. But I was like, no, I'll do it. So as I kept training,
just a moment to our viewers. You can leave your questions in the comments. We shall be answering a few as we go on. Timothy, you can continue.
Yeah, no problem. I'm ready to respond to any questions. So as we move on, 2002, there's a coach that came and joined Yairo Kasasa at that time. Because it was Yairo Kasasa, the coach at that moment. Mike Kegwin, I think many rugby people have seen him around Chadondo. He came to help out with coaching. I think it was his first time in the national team at that time. I mean, in Uganda, he had just come in with the Wildlife Association. Mike Kegwin just looks at me, tells me, you're a hard tackler, you're a fast runner. I think with what we are going into, that time we are going to the lower division of the Africa Cup. Okay, so we had Kenya in there, Cameroon. There are quite some big boys we're going to face.
So an interesting question here. Did you join together with Fred?
No. Surprisingly not.
You found
Fred joined the
there,
national team. I found Fred in the national team already. Yet I introduced him into the game.
So he joined before you?
Yes, he did. He joined before me. Yeah.
I think that was more motivation for you to work hard and join the national team.
Actually, that actually motivated me more because I was like, I brought the game into the family, but just because I went back into high school, Fred for him was now free, university. He easily trained and worked out and made it, and he had learned the basics of the game, and even learned more. He ended up learning more than me. I was still in the high school mode by that time. So yeah,
that was Charlotte's question. I wonder how she doesn't know that. But we can continue.
True. Interesting. Yeah, so Mike Kegwin sees a winger in me, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't refuse, of course, but I was like, fine, I'll give it a try. Let's go. Because anything to join the national team, that was my dream. And my dream was being handed to me right now. And I think that time David Mutaka was really occupied with work. He had become really busy. Because usually, at that time, David Mutaka was the winger with, I think, Alan Musoke. So David got busy. He had started kickstarting his career. He wouldn't make sessions often. And here I was, lucky enough. Mike says, this could be quite a good replacement for David.
Okay.
But in my head, the problem I got in there with this thing of, you've been put here to tackle the big wingers. And I was like, no problem. I'll do why I've been put here. And 2002, debut game against Cameroon at Kampala Rugby Club, the current legends. Very rainy day.
So that is 2001, right? Or 2002?
2002. This is 2002. Africa Cup. Africa Cup, the lower division, yeah. And this was game 1 now for Uganda. Here I am, I've made the team. After all my hustles, many of my peers were in the under-19 squad. Okay, what I didn't go through was my under-19 national team. I think because of time, I really don't want to go through the big, really nitty-gritties, but I'm someone who went through all the ranks. Be it in school, I played under-19, played under-21, developmental sides, under-23. I didn't skip any level through my career just because everything was quick for me because of where I wanted to get. Yeah, my vision was up there. So national team comes up. Yeah, we face Cameroon. First time to play wing. I'm facing people almost thrice my size. And boy, I wish there was video recording that time. That's a game I would want to rewatch over and over.
But Cameroonians have been big, even just recent games we've watched. They've been huge men. So I think if you're talking about being more conditioned, maybe that.
I would say yeah. I think for us that time, through my career time of playing with the national team, it was more of heart. I think even the way people would welcome you into the team was different right now. There was a lot of heart that time. You just play because you love the game. That's
so is this when the nickname Kameto all cream came in?
Is that one of the questions that has come?
Yeah, why did they call you that?
Okay. Oh boy. I actually have one of my good friends, Roger Molinde. The daughter, up to today, she's now a 13-year-old. She doesn't know my real name. She knows me as Uncle Kameto. That name comes up from school.
Okay.
It's please guys, don't. This is a story.
This is going to be fun.
So we are playing, we are training at the beach in Namilyango. We hit each other with a guy, we tackle each other. I swing on him and I hit the pole.
So that is the goalpost story, right?
That's the goalpost story. So you've heard about the goalpost story.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I hit the goalpost.
Okay.
There was a sound that was produced, like two metals had hit each other. And it shook quite a lot. Everyone thought, yeah, I was really injured. But I later get out. I'm like, guys, let's go on with the session.
So let's say by that time we never had the head test and everything. So it was a concussion, okay, but you moved on as a mentor.
No, I moved on as a human being. I moved on as a human being, really.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
so quite, as we advance, we know you have very many nicknames, Bapi, King, but we shall get to each step, each
As we
level,
move.
step by step. Yeah. So,
True,
Mr. Mentor, you can continue.
So yeah, Cameroon game, my first debut. Lucky enough, we win that game because Cameroon in 2001 had beaten Uganda back in Cameroon. So why that game was big for me, my debut game, was that. I was like, man, these are guys I trained before, some years back. They went there. These are guys that were huge and were beaten. And now here I am in my vacation, and my first competitor is a team that walked over the people I look up to. So that game, actually, my focus was mainly on just tackle. I even didn't want to touch the game.
Was that when Marshall looked into Uganda? He was
That's a
there for
good one.
that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Maybe that's when he came in as a kid and waited for his moment as well.
Well, I'll ask him.
Yeah, yeah. Fast forward after that, we get our next big game. I think another memorable one against. I think the first time we ever beat. I would like to say the first time we ever beat Kenya as a Uganda-Kenya game, not Kampala versus
Nairobi.
Nairobi.
Okay.
Now, I'm like, now this is the second game. Honestly, I'm like, no, this can't be. But for some reason, every game I kept going for, I had the corner I would go to in the changing room to pray, think, just sing to myself. And they say rugby is a game of superstition. In 2002, I had a pair of socks. I had to play. I know as we go into our chat, you'll see every big competition, what my superstition was. And somehow it kept paying off. I had a pair of socks.
Don't leave that. Yeah. Don't leave that story behind. We need
it. True. So I would pray. But then another thing, every game, Mike Kegwin would come to me in my corner, tap me on the back, and tells me, you got this. For some reason. In that, I think if that year, if it had happened and he hadn't done it, I would think we are going to lose. If I hadn't put on those stockings, I would think we are going to lose. So Kenya, Uganda.
How hard was your brother pushing you? Because I believe you are with him on the national team.
He's the last person I would talk to in the changing room. After I've talked to everyone, we've prayed, we've what? We are running. Remember, he's number one. He's not supposed to be behind the captain. Okay. But for some reason, he would lag behind. High five, chest thump. We talk, let's do this in the changing room. He runs quickly up front. I get into my number 11 position and we get onto pitch. He was Fred really being the first person to make it to the national team really motivated me. And I would say I think I'm one of the few players who joined the national team and never got really inaugurated. I didn't get all those carry the kit, carry the let me call myself
those stories
the
we hear.
boy. Yeah, the stories we hear. They actually happen in any team across the world. But I was lucky. I was really lucky that didn't happen. And yeah, I think I thank God for that. But yeah, we go to Nairobi. This is the final game to decide. Basically, it was one of our final games. Okay, we didn't know what Botswana would bring, but we needed to beat Kenya after beating Cameroon. So
we are talking about Tier 2 right now, right?
Tier 2. Tier 2, 2002, Uganda, Kenya, Ngong Road in Nairobi, big crowd. This was my first away game I'm playing away from the country, wearing the black, yellow, red stripes. So the game was tough. Sogi by that time was the kicker. But he's here putting in all the kicks. We just halftime, I think, were 12-0 up, something like that. This was all good. I haven't missed any tackle in the game as the rookie, because the Kenyans looked at my channel as the weakest, really. They wouldn't go to Alan. They were like, this one we can't. We need this young boy here. But so far, we missed a tackle. So we go into second half. The first try of the game goes through me. I somehow rushed, missed a tackle, gambled, tried to chase. The try goes through. And I think by the time actually the late Alan was on, this is where the story comes in. Makaka was quick.
Quick.
Boy, oh boy.
Somebody
Makaka
described him as the fastest.
He was
one
quick.
of the
I don't know if
fastest.
it's 2000. He was one of the fastest. I think we had quick players up to today. He's one of those people who rank up there.
Is the Jacob Oji of these days.
If you want to phrase it that way. True. True. So a try goes through me. I'm like, shit, I've fucked up. To make it worse.
So if even Alan can accept that somebody was bloody, I know what you guys mean. So is in total agreement.
If he says Makaka was bloody, Makaka was too much. That boy was quick. That boy he leaves you, he has left you, you're gone. So we move on. Somehow Kenya gets another try. We haven't yet scored. This is now, I think, they get us 12, 14 up. But I feel bummed. I'm like, no. I think they got about, I think that was the score at that time, 12, 14, or it got to 21. I can't remember the scores really well. Sorry about that. But now we are in the last 9 minutes of the game. We are down. We're actually down. I think I hit by a point. We're hit by a point. And Kenya is attacking. They are in our 22. Kenya's back line was wicked. It was like Uganda's pack would bully Kenya's pack any day at that time.
Of course.
And Kenya knew it. So they would release their loose forwards to run.
A pack of Brand Makalam and
Fred Mudoola.
Tumaire.
You have the late Rujumba there. Fula, Gasson on the Kalit, Sogi. It was wicked. It was a wicked pack.
Reminded us we were 22-21 in the last play.
Exactly. Oh, yes. Remind 22-21 last play. They're running the ball, our 22. They have their looses running. There's an overlap. So it's on my wing as usual. They knew, let's hit this rookie's wing. I was like, I just took a gamble. I was like, you know what, fuck it. Go for the ball. If they go, they go. But there's no way you're going to tackle. There were almost 3 people in front of me. There was no way. A pass is made from the fly-off, long pass. I hit it. I ran for my life, Josh. I ran for my life. Lucky enough, young boy, quick on my feet at that time. I ran. As I was going, the Ugandan fans who had traveled at that time ran onto the pitch. So I looked back, thinking there's a Kenyan coming for me. But there were fans following me to the try. Scored the try. Scored the try. Sogi converts. Boy, it was a celebration. That's one of my greatest ever moments in rugby to date. That scenario, the whole, the energy was real.
I I know how it feels to be in that away stand in Kenya. Oh
In
boy.
Kenya. Yeah. Seeing the fans walk out, they couldn't believe it because they knew it was going to be a walk in the park. They're like, Uganda, why? They haven't brought a team, we'll beat these ones. And honestly, I think that moment framed and built my rugby career.
Your rugby
I didn't want
career.
to look back. I didn't want to look back from there. And because of the reasons I wanted to join, because of the reason that I wanted to join the national team.
So we hear you got a kiss from Magona. Oh boy.
Oh God.
That was some love.
It was a hug. Let's keep it at a hug. Not a kiss.
Oh man.
But it was a beautiful moment.
Fred, instead of celebrating, was looking for spectacular moments, you know?
You know. No, one thing is for sure. Magona was quite quick at that time. He was one of the first people to support me to the try line with the fans. As captain, carries me off. I was a little boy, very light. He was a big boy. Carries me off, hugs me. The rest of the team comes around me, lift me, fans, because the game was done.
That is going to be a good Twitter story.
Let's not go into that one. No. No kisses happened.
Well, there was a witness, so.
I'm going to get him for that one. Fred, I'm coming here for that one. But yeah. And those are days the national team used to use the bus, travel back.
Yeah, so 2002 we lift the Elgon Cup, right?
No, 2002 we lift the Tier 2 Africa Cup.
Yeah, plus the
come
Elgon
back
Cup.
to Kampala.
Beat Kenya.
Yeah, come back to Kampala, beat Botswana easily. Quick easy tries. We kept. That was an easy game actually. It freaked me out because being a debut year, but later I realized this is easy. And yeah, from there, honestly, Josh, I didn't look back. 2003, Uganda makes it to the first ever 7 series. I'm lucky to be called up because by that time, Herbert Wafula, I think, had retired, became coach, calls me up. And 2003, I'm vice captain. Imagine, after making my debut year the year before, I made vice captain to Mike Wandera.
So we are looking at a scenario where we had very many people taking a backseat from the national team, right?
Yeah.
For you to be elevated to that level.
It was quite a genesis. After 2002, a couple of players just hung up their boots, decided taking the back seat, just going to the. And now I was like, why not? I'll take this driving seat.
So let me just ask an encouraging question. What motivated you guys to continue playing the game? Because I believe the resources were marginal by then. Like you being a rugby player from school, you have to chase your career, but you choose to play rugby.
Truth be told, Josh, it was more of a passion. Okay. Rugby then was strictly, outrightly passion. It was, I want to put on the black, yellow, red stripes. You have to fight hard. Sessions were really tough. And personally speaking, as Timothy Mudoola, like I've told you through the path briefly, my vision was to put on that jersey. And imagine this is a time where I even finally had followed the All Blacks, but I didn't know what it takes for them to put on that jersey. But later in my career, when I follow All Blacks, how many great All Blacks wanted to put on that jersey, I backdated and I was like, actually, this was me. I even didn't want anything from anyone. I just needed to be on that pitch, perform, play, And that was the motivation, really. Because I think even when we'd go, the first time we went for the IRB, okay, that time it was IRB series, the 7th series. It's the first time I touched, I think I got proper dollars as allowance. I was like, I'm being given money to go. As in, okay, no problem. No, it's okay. My dad,
it was welcome.
The time after I was leaving, my dad was like, don't you need pocket money? Don't you need... I told him, me, I have my ticket. We have where we are going to sleep. But he told me, no, you have this. You go with this. You never know, shop. Then also national team gives us something. That time you would get, I think, about $30. That was the allowance. $20 to $30.
$30 was quite heavy in 2002.
Yeah, that was quite some good money. Go to Dubai and you shop. Get some nice clothing.
So
and
you are telling us between that time of you joining the 15th setup, you're also in the 7th setup, right?
No, when I joined the 15th setup in 2002, now 2003 is when Uganda gets invited for the IRB series. We were called in, several players were called in to train. It was actually strictly merit. You had to go prove yourself, prove your speed. And by that time, 7s was raw. You just needed to have your speed, your tackling, and your pass.
I see some images on quite disturbing when you are crying out for your life. Those guys, I think they could run you guys over, and you're like, yeah, we need to go back and work.
Yeah, exactly. It was quite another. That was now a different experience altogether. You come with your raw energy, your raw pace, your raw skills, and you find people who beat you with ease. With ease, you're tackling someone, but he has released the ball already, and that's the time we realized conditioning has to come in. Some extra skills have to come in. This is going to shock everyone, but by that time when we went for IRB series, actually even the Kenyans looked up to Uganda. We actually had very good passing. We'd actually pass the ball from one end to the other without dropping it. But
so
of course,
our player has been on sport
all
since
through
rugby, yeah.
All through up to today, up to
because
today.
Even up to now, yeah, they
up
do
to now,
us.
Exactly. Look at our players today. The flair is always there. Just needs that extra. There's just that extra needed, and yeah.
We shall get back. We shall get back to that about the current crop of players.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So take us. We are now in 2002. We finished 2002. We won tier 2. We into tier 1, and
yeah.
2003. You are vice captain. I'll drink to that.
No, that's 7s. That's for 7s though. Yeah. All through 2003, 2004, rugby is going on. Uganda is a team of reckoning in Africa. We are starting to be noticed by World Rugby, Africa Rugby that time. So let me fast forward to 2006. 2006, I think.
First enlighten us. On the national team, you played multiple positions, right? 7, 11, 13, right?
True. That's true, Josh.
So, which position did you feel most comfortable with? Like something you wanted to concentrate on, and which gave you an expression to the game?
Okay, just to even elaborate more, I started, of course, as a winger, 11, a blind winger in the national team. I later moved to a 13 position. I think this was after I got some 7s experience, the offloading, the committing and passing. This is about, I think in 2004, I moved to 13. because now more people were falling out of the team. The
Okay.
Nathan Wasolos were falling out.
So you are telling us Uganda has been quite short in midfield. Midfield has been our problem ever since.
Definitely, it has been quite, because trust me, I bow down to many midfielders of the national team. So when I see people bow down to me, I'm like, you are some people you didn't watch that I watched do some great things. So I get into 13, and I think I was more comfortable with 13. And everyone keeps talking about the chemistry between me and Alan. Fine, it built from us being on opposite wings.
Okay.
But the moment I made it to 13, and Alan was still playing 15, 14, I was like, finally, at least I'm close. It's not only the changing room, but now
you're telling us that is why he sings praise about you every time, because every time you're the playmaker, it is Alan to Alan to Alan.
No. Not really. Not really.
Says Tony Bill Williams copied you. Guys, good jokes, you know.
Yes, we copied you. No, it just came to a state where, you move to a position. From 13, they tell you, at Timothy, from wing, they're like, come to 13. So you train, but there's this voice you keep hearing, Timo, ball. And you know when to release, when not to release. And the connection it just works itself. But from Alan, I learned to listen to even other people. I was like, you know what? I built my body to take hits. I was like, and I think that's the unfortunate bit. I didn't cross the whitewash quite often, because in my mind, I built myself with this mentality of create for your next player. Create for your next player.
You were that unselfish guy.
Yeah. If you want to call it that, but
let us take it like that, because
if
Alan every time is talking about one of the greatest players, Timothy. But for us, we know people who score tries. We're like, Soki was great.
No. Soki was a great player.
Alan was a great player.
Alan was a great player.
Of course, he was a great player, undisputable.
Yeah, true. I get you, Josh.
I get 2006.
Yeah, 2006, I think that's when, I think, is that when Chester Williams comes in? I think it should be. That's the Chester Williams era. And now we are chasing to be the greatest in Africa. That's where our vision is. We've set our bar. Yeah, Chester comes. We win again. We win again.
2006, you see yourself in the mode of being African champions.
That's where we are.
From 2003, you've been competing at a high level, and you're like, is this our year? Is this our year?
Yeah, because from 2003 onwards, 2004, 5, Kenya built onto that loss. Of course, we beat them here and there. It was a seesaw, but they were like, these are no longer our baby brothers anymore. So they're built onto this. They are trying to beat us, trying to be better than us. Now, with Uganda, we're trying to focus to match them, because they're building also in sevens. Okay. They're trying to match us in 7. We're trying to match them in sevens. Because after what we had showed them in 2003, for some reason, they skipped above us. But balancing the two had become a problem for us. So, but we're like, let's focus 15s. We need to be the best in Africa now. But 2006, I think we still fell short, if I'm not mistaken, on the Elgon Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, we fell short. But we had really some good games that time with under Chester Williams, if I remember very well. Then fast forward 2007, the year everyone catch.
Between that, I remember I've read something about you joining Pirates from Kobs, missing 2 games around 2005, 2006 there. First, take us to that moment. Did you contemplate about joining Pirates?
Josh, you have someone WhatsApping you.
I do my research.
But no. No. The truth, Pirates is a great club. I'll say that outrightly. Pirates is a great club. One thing is for sure, my very own brother, Fred, has played there before. Personally, I was short playing there because there's some games I missed. It was into the transfer window.
The transfer window. You missed 2 games, is it?
I missed about 2 games.
You even missed the game against Pirates.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't play that game as well because we're in transfer talks with Pirates and nothing really matured. It was about
so there was that little interest.
Yeah, there was the interest came. I won't lie to you about it.
Yeah,
there was that stint.
We have a few minutes for part 1 to end. After that, we shall come back with 2006, the Africa Cup win, and the later part of your career. So before this part ends, we shall take in a few questions, and then we'll go into the next session. We have about 1 minute, 10 seconds.
Cheers, Josh. No problem.
Yeah. So any questions are welcome from our viewers before we go into the next part of the session. Let's take questions. Because I was fixing in questions as they were coming in. I didn't want to interrupt you and everything. So I think most questions have been answered. Yeah, so in this part, we know you as Kameto. We're waiting for the next part.
All right, cheers, Josh.
Yeah, cheers. So we're going to end this session and go into the next session. And right away, we shall start talking about 2006 and beyond.
Okay, no problem.
Stay tuned. Within a minute, within 30 seconds, we shall be back.
Okay.